All right, guys, before we get started, this is Old School Will bringing another one to you. This one is about how divided of a nation we are. It appears that as I was thumbing through a lot of my TikTok videos here and other videos from other sites, I kind of noticed how this is going to be a sad Thanksgiving for a lot of people in this country because from what I've been seeing, there's a lot of torn apart families behind this last election. And we haven't even made it to Thanksgiving yet, but families are being ripped apart behind this division within our country. So sad. It is really so sad. In my entire lifetime, I never thought it would come to this conclusion, but it's here. And I want to say before I start the video on the regrets that I'm seeing a lot of folks are having now, because they're beginning to understand what tariffs are and what they're going to have to face after the 20th of January of 2025. They are terrified. And as I stated before, it's dividing our families. I have no answers for this. But if you do, please comment in my comment section there. But we're gonna go ahead and get started, and this is something different. And also, before I start, guys, I want to ask you if you just go ahead and if you like the video, go ahead and like and subscribe and comment, and also share it with your friends, because this is only part one of one of the videos I'm going to do. Part two is going to come after January 20th. I don't know how far past that, but I want to do a comparison between before Trump gets in office and how people are thinking after he gets in office, when things start drastically changing in this country. Through the video, I'm not going to talk you to death. We're going to both walk through it, and we're going to look at it together, because the videos and what people are saying speak for themselves. So there is no need for any. I don't see any need for any comment from me. But I'm going to watch along as you do. But as I said, let's stay blessed, please. And if you can, I don't know if I'm going to see you before Thanksgiving, but let's see, the date is the 14th of November on a Thursday. But I don't know if I'm going to see you guys before Thanksgiving. I'll do another video prior to that. But I wish all well for everyone in this country. And let's try to do right by each other. With all that being said, let's go ahead and let's continue.
Dear President Trump, I'm starting to regret my vote. What? Now? Now you're starting to regret. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was fine in the beginning. I can overlook, and I'm okay with the blatant racism and the crass sexism and the deranged narcissism and pandering to Nazis and supporting pedophiles and proudly bragging about being a sexual predator and paying your mistress to have an abortion and openly cheating your employees and mocking the disabled and praising murderous dictators and the constant pathological lying, the petty vindictive cruelty, the staggering ineptitude, the unapologetic corruption, the nepotism, the mob ties, the calculated mendacity, ignorance as to how American government works, encouraging violence against those that question your authority, the theft of our tax dollars to pay off your mountain of debt and or go golfing. Did I mention the relentless lying? You're a liar. Being a white nationalist, demonizing immigrants, the obvious disregard of the Bill of Rights, lying about whether Russia had hacked our election when you knew all along it had, then lying about it, the collusion with our sworn enemy and the sworn enemy of democracy, your dereliction of duty, your treasonous activities, and I was with you when you cheated. I was with you when you cheated on your wife with that porn star, the one you compared favorably to your daughter. You cheated on your wife, not the wife you raped, but the current wife who had just given birth to your son. And of course, I was with you when we found out you cheated with the Playboy Playmate, the one you compared favorably to your daughter, not with the wife you have now, but the second wife whose kid you ignore. And of course, I was with you, President Trump, when you took the babies away. You took infants breastfeeding, literally breastfeeding from their mothers and fathers, people, the families who had made this arduous trek to come here and seek asylum. They just wanted to seek asylum, and you took them and you deported the parents, and you took them and separated them, sent the kids hundreds of miles away in a disused Walmart inside of a cage with armed guards pointing guns at them, and then of course thus ensuring the private prison contractors, Core Civic and Geo Group, who donated heavily to you, can get paid their collective $4 billion in profit as those toddlers sob and whimper in absolute terror, trauma.
I know I said I wasn't going to comment, but he mentioned one thing that I do have to comment about. The Geo Group is a private security agency that house federal inmates throughout the country. And these guys are set to make billions of dollars off of what's going to happen, just like they did in 2020 when everyone was, when the illegals were rounded up. This go around, they're set to make billions of dollars in housing these immigrants prior to being deported. So I just thought that's a little knowledge you might want to know going forward.
For life. Of course I was with you with that. But this last omnibus spending bill is where I draw the line.
I'm also wrestling with a lot of guilt because I know now that decision is actually pro-death.
I have a lot of guilt and genuine shame. Probably going to get some understandable hate for this, but I voted for Trump in the 2016 election based solely off what I believed was a pro-life conviction at the time. I was a very politically and scientific illiterate person. As a Christian, I believed that we were supposed to take care of the widows, orphans, sick, and the poor. I was only seeing the Democratic side doing these things. There were a lot of misconceptions and propaganda about late-term abortions. I still see that propaganda today, and I see conservatives fall for it. I'd see people wearing Republicans for Voldemort shirts, and I would laugh. But I still voted for him. I had to save the babies from late-term abortions. Day after Trump won, I knew I had made a huge mistake. I saw Christian nationalists emboldened in a way I had never seen before and knew that they were going to do massive damage.
I just realized on Monday evening that my entire family has disowned me because I voted for Donald Trump. And not gonna lie, I cried. It's sad. Who does that? Who does that? It's ridiculous. I sent this newspaper clipping to my family that I was featured in, or some flowers that I had done were featured in. So I was like really proud, like, hey, we're in the paper, blah, blah, blah. And not one of my family members responded, and they all have decided to shun me because I voted for Donald Trump. Just ridiculous. Do better. Be kinder. Love you, bye.
So the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, I'm married to a Trump supporter. We were walking the other night, and I kind of do most of the talking, and it's all about the real news. And he said, So this probably wouldn't have happened if he had just unclassified the documents, declassified the documents, whatever. Well, anyhow, I can't say that this would have never happened if he declassified the documents. However, he didn't. And that's kind of why we're here. Well, he left a letter for the, oh my fucking, no. Sweetheart, he's so fucking guilty.
I came home the day I met Trump, and I gave my son a MAGA hat, and I said, I guess we're there. And he said, ew. His first words to me were, ew. I said, but Baba, he said he's gonna stop the war. And he said, okay, that's it. Give me that hat. We're voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community. If you're gonna stop the war, even if I don't like you, I'm on your team.
What's it like being in a marriage where one of you thinks Trump is the future, the other one thinks he's Hitler?
Well, as for me, I just have to ignore and turn my back and realize that we each have our own choices to make in life. I'm not responsible for what my husband says or does.
Is it difficult in the marriage to have that bigger difference?
We just don't talk about it at home. I've seen the rise of dictators in history, and Mr. Trump's campaign literally mirrors that of Adolf Hitler, and he's been called that. I think he's going to run America into the ground because he does not observe any of the democratic norms that his predecessors have.
Barbara, I can tell from your hat you probably don't agree with that.
I absolutely do not agree with that. And I'm sorry to hear my husband say this. President Trump reminds me of my own father. He was very strict and he was very tough and he kept his promises.
Can your marriage survive a Trump victory?
Certainly.
Do you think so, Barbara?
I think so. Probably so. I just have this pain in my heart thinking that my husband's going to cancel out my vote for President Trump. So there's nothing I can do about it. We all have our own choices. I can't wait till this is over. And
Did you guys hear what just happened when he asked if he felt that, asked this couple if their marriage can survive this? The gentleman quickly said, sure. But she was very hesitant as far as answering that question. This is where the division comes. It's going to come in this country. This couple have probably been married a long, long time, and now this is going to divide them.
no, and President Trump will be president, and then you have nothing more to say.
No, I probably will have things to say, but it'll just be opinion, right?
So because I voted Donald Trump and you voted Kamala, we're not friends anymore. Ha! I beg, what the fuck is going on? I need somebody to explain it to me because I've seen people ending their whole friendship, relationship only because of that election bullshit. I don't even know. Like, why can't you take somebody else's opinion without feeling offended? Like, as a human being, you have to understand you can't agree with people every time on the same shit. That's the world we are living in. But going to end a whole friendship because of some election stuff that you don't even know about is crazy. I think it's crazy. I've seen people in following and blocking each other. Okay, I understand you have your point of view, but we need to do better. We need
People ending relationships and friendships is not so much because of what your opinion is, it's because of what you're getting behind. What all the things that have been said as far as I'm trying not to get too political on this. I'm trying to hopefully keep my opinions to myself because I know in the comments, as usual, no matter how nice and how neutral you try to be, someone's going to always come up and say something extremely negative toward you and your comments. But it's not so much that people are dissing themselves from you because of you. It's because of what you're standing behind. I guess that's a proper way of putting it.
To do better. Like, we need to do better. I'm not gonna lie. You can't unfollow me because I voted Kamala and you voted Trump. And you wanted me to vote Trump when I voted Kamala. Or you wanted me to vote Kamala when I voted Trump. And you mad at me because, bro, come on. We are too grown for that shit. Like, please, I beg. Hey, it's not that deep. Uku.
My brother and his fiance uninvited me from their wedding, and now I have the wonderful pleasure of uninviting them from holiday activities because they voted for Donald Trump. I just want to know what you guys think of the whole entire situation and if I'm being petty, if I'm being unreasonable. Just to give you guys a heads up, my brother gets free healthcare, my brother goes to school for free, and I helped him apply for all of those government programs. In addition to that, I gave my brother a free BMW SUV. He drives a free car. I pay for his car insurance and I pay for his cell phone bill. In addition to that, he lives at home and completely relies on the financial assistance of my mother. So this boy has the audacity to not only vote for Donald Trump, who is against women like myself and my mother, but then he has the audacity, after my mother was crying all day yesterday, he comes home celebrating his victory and rubbing it in my mom's face. Now, I understand we all have different opinions and political views, but you do not go to the home of a woman who financially supports you, rub it in her face. Go ahead, laugh about it with your friends, laugh about it with your unemployed fiance. It has now been over a month that I cut my brother off and I no longer answer his phone calls because the only reason he called me anyway was when he needed money. And I know that's really hard to do. And I know right now a lot of people are going to have some very uncomfortable Thanksgivings and Christmases. But at the end of the day, I really encourage you all to protect your peace. I'm not saying that you need to cut out every single person in your life that doesn't agree with you politically. But if after this election, someone is literally taunting you, laughing at your face, and disrespecting you, regardless of what political party they are a part of, that person doesn't need to be in your life. So I'm scrolling.
I just realized something, folks. The reason why people are dissing you, if you listen to the guy in the first clip, he surmised it as far as why we are so divided. And if you want to go back and re-listen to him again, then you can understand why a lot of friendships and families are breaking up, because he hit the nail right on the head, and those were the reasons why. Because he felt like if this individual is like that, then that's telling your family members and friends that you're like that. And that's the part they can't deal with. I don't think I could deal with it either, because the people that you thought were part of your family and part of your friends, and they have that type of mindset, it's really, really, really disturbing and sad.
And I see a lot of Black women making videos talking down to Black men who voted for Trump. And I just have to say, if you voted for Trump and you're a Black man, thank you. And I thank you because I know exactly why you voted for Trump. You voted for secure borders so that us women and children can be safe. You voted for a strong economy so that us women and children can be provided for. You voted for our children to not be indoctrinated in this failed public school system. You voted for my right to not have to use the bathroom with a biological man. You also voted for our children not to be drafted into another endless, senseless war that only benefits the military industrial complex. And also, you voted for the protection of our freedom of speech, the same freedom of speech that these evil, nasty, disgusting women are using to wish death upon you. So, as a Black woman, I just want to say thank you for voting for Trump. I truly appreciate you, and I'm going to speak life into you. I pray that God continues to protect you and guide you. I pray that He gives you the success that you deserve. I pray that He gives you the strength to lead your family and your communities. And for anyone who wants to say in the comments that I'm a pick me, baby, I'm already chosen. So what about you? It's Trump 2024. You already know. Thank you.
Think of you.
There's a lot of people saying Trump supporters will regret voting for him this time, and I think we're giving them too much credit. Because if they didn't regret it after he spread misinformation that killed most of their friends and relatives during the pandemic, I don't think they're going to regret it this time. These people are political goldfish. They exist in the 3 seconds they just left and the 3 seconds they're about to enter. Yeah, that's all they have room for.
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow, because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret, not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. It does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I can work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
I sell them at to make that up. So it's already started. And for people who didn't realize what a tariff was, you're about to find out, okay? Because it's going to affect everything that you buy. Because there's not a product on the shelf that doesn't have some element of it that comes from another country. So good luck.
And now we are starting to see large corporations also announce that they are going to have to implement massive job cuts and slash their sales forecasts for various reasons, one of them being due to incoming raises in prices due to Donald Trump's tariffs. We see here from Fortune, Nissan announces 9,000 job cuts and slashes sales forecasts as it faces severe situation. And this is due to Nissan's plummeting sales and also the fact that they are expecting higher and higher prices in the coming year due to these tariffs. They say the following. When asked about Donald Trump's victory in the U.S. presidential election, the CEO of Nissan said that the company was, quote, hearing various things like tariffs, but it's not just us. Quote, we'll be lobbying in the direction of our medium to long-term plans should remain, but we will conduct our business while monitoring the situation carefully. Here's a report in the Detroit News about Stellantis. Stellantis cutting 400 jobs at Detroit Parts Warehouse. Stellantis NV plans to cut about 400 union workers at an East Detroit warehousing facility early next year. The indefinite layoffs will affect all United Auto Workers represented employees at the Freud Street Parts sequencing facility, which is near the company's Detroit Assembly Complex Jefferson plant. Stellantis said it's transitioning operations to a third party. Quote, as Stellantis navigates a transitional year, the focus is on realigning the U.S. operations to ensure a strong start to 2025, said a statement on the layoffs sent by their spokesperson. Here is an article from CNN outlining the threat of Donald Trump's tariffs. Would have been nice if they did this before the election, but here's what they have to say right now. CNN writes, you will pay for Donald Trump's tariffs. Here is the proof. They say the following, but if you don't want to heed the many, many economists' warnings about former President Trump's fringe economic plans, take it from the people running the companies that make the stuff you buy. Prices will go up. How much and how fast is hard to know, but you could bet your bottom dollar that you'll be needing more dollars to pay for everyday goods if Trump's sweeping tariffs are put in place. Quote, if we get tariffs, we will pass those tariffs costs back to the consumer, said the CEO of AutoZone. AutoZone won't need to wait until the policies are enacted, the CEO noted. Once they know what the markup will be, quote, we generally raise prices ahead of that. Then I want to share this as well. We've seen a lot of gamers getting the back of Donald Trump, especially these Gen Z gamers supporting Donald Trump. Well, we're now learning that the price of game consoles is about to spike because of Donald Trump's tariffs as well. Here are just some of the headlines going around the various tech publications. Here's one. Trump tariffs will make video game consoles up to 40% more expensive. Here's another. Console prices could skyrocket by 40% due to Donald Trump's victory. Tariffs can make a PS5, a PlayStation 5 Pro, cost up to $1,000 US, experts say. Here's another headline. Trump's proposed tariffs could hit gaming hard, study finds. Well, I guess it was all worth it, MAGA. Enjoy paying those higher costs while Elon Musk's net worth skyrockets to $313 billion this week, as estimated by Bloomberg after Donald Trump's election. And as Yashar Ali notes, when Musk reaches $401 billion, which is inevitable, he will become the richest man in history who is not a monarch or head of state, even when past fortunes are adjusted for inflation. His net worth will be around 1.4% of the GDP of the United States. Additionally, his network will fully exceed that of his birth country, South Africa. But sure, he's looking out for your best interests, MAGA. Okay, this is a Nigerian American who supported Donald Trump, had his back the whole way during the election. And following the election, he was in one of these MAGA chat rooms, these live chats with his fellow MAGA supporters. And a fellow Trump supporter told him that because he is black, he will never actually be accepted in the movement. Watch this.
MAGA family, I was on TikTok Live, and a fellow Trump supporter said that all he needed was my vote. I'll never be part of the MAGA family, and that I'm black, I'll never be accepted, but he just got my vote. Nah, that's crazy. Like, I love MAGA Nation, I love the MAGA family, and that breaks my heart that someone would speak to me like that right after the election, that all I was a vote? Nah, I love all you guys, and I know most of you MAGA family members are not racist, and I love you guys, and I'll keep repping MAGA Nation, Trump 2024, but that really broke my heart that some guy would say that. Extremely heartbroken.
And now I want to share with you this story written in the Statesman, statesman.com. They say the following, quote, an undocumented immigrant from Guatemala says the odds of Trump improving the economy is worth the potentially higher risk of deportation. Quote, Trump wants to deport people who do bad things. I have not broken any laws. I hate to say it, but have you been listening to this guy at all? Well, maybe I should show you at least what he's saying right now and what his supporters are saying right now, what the people who are going to implement these policies and result in your deportation are saying right now. Here's Senator-elect Jim Banks dismissing concerns of the business community about deporting as many as 15 million people in the United States, saying, quote, a mandate is a mandate. Watch this.
Who will say, we need these people. They are workers that really fuel our businesses. And then aside from business, just even taking agriculture as an example, I want to read a quote from Michael Marsh, president and CEO of the National Council of Agriculture Employees. He says, from an employer standpoint, you're very concerned when you hear somebody talk about deporting a significant amount of the existing workforce. What do you say to him and others who really do rely, even hospitality, who rely on these undocumented migrants?
A mandate is a mandate, and the president winning the popular vote on Tuesday is a strong signal that this is what the American people, the public, expects us to do. And only Republicans who completely misread the moment, who don't understand what the mandate means, and I don't think there are very many of them left in Congress.
Well, don't say we didn't warn you, MAGA. You broke it. You bought it. Trump and Republicans are...
One thing I have to comment on that, he said that this is what the people want. No, this is what probably 51% or 52% of the American people want, not all 100%. So I think he kind of need to clarify that and straighten that answer up, because that is not accurate.
about to control every lever of the government. So I don't want to hear any excuses as this all continues and they start to feel the fallout of their choices. But in the meantime, here's what we're going to do. We are going to hold Trump accountable. We're going to expose him every.
I've been finding joy. This is so bad. I've been finding joy in those videos that now Trump supporters are regretting their decision because they're getting everything that they voted for. Those are my. If you have those, tag me in them. I like those videos. Kind of gives me a little bit of light in this very dark world.